What's going on, Jared? Welcome in to a Tuesday morning, the morning after Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks named national champions. I mean, what a game. What a game. Felt like it was over at halftime. Felt like it was over at halftime, but it also felt like there was no way Kansas was going to lay down like that, right? Like there was no scenario where I didn't see it at least being competitive, but I didn't see quite the meltdown that we saw from UNC. What did you see from that game? I mean, that was a great game, and the books made an absolute killing.
Yeah, they did. Game stayed under, which was huge. Heavy action to the over. Heavy action on UNC money line. No surprise. Heavy action on Kansas laying 4.
0 for 3.
That's it. Kansas by 1-3. That was the consensus, like sweet spot from all the bookmakers we heard from. If Kansas won the game and UNC was able to cover, that was the perfect needle threading. So that was
Lauren
how the outcome
Lauren played that yesterday, right? That was one of Lauren's plays.
What's that?
Didn't Lauren give that out yesterday? Wasn't that one of her?
Lauren gave out, Kansas by 1-10. We had a really good POD. Neither of us, took the bait with Kansas laying 4. Lauren gave out 1-10 margin. That's a Jack Harrison special right there. He loves those margin bets, and it paid off on the last night of the year. And I gave out Ochai Agbaji as the most outstanding player. A lot of people were up in arms about him winning it. I will direct you to the fact that he was an All-American this year, and he was 6 for 7 from 3 in the Final Four. And it is not just the championship game. It is the Final Four most outstanding player. You could make a case for David McCormick. You could make a case for Christian Brown. You can even make a case for Remy Martin and Jalen Wilson. But all 4 of those guys were all kind of on the same level, and they gave it to the All-American. I don't see an issue there, and the odds told us that if Kansas won, it would likely be Agbaji, and that was the bet last night. Great job by our Pickswise crew. Also, we gave out like $4,000 in free bets because Kansas won the title. And also, can I get some credit? The Pickswise bracket champion here, the only guy that Kansas. Do I get a prize for that, or is that
I
just
think you get some swag? I think Jack says you get some swag. So
I get some swag.
Yeah.
Can we confirm that, Jack? Yes.
Jack
Okay.
Yes, you get
nice.
some swag. So, listen, I'm shocked that you don't have a problem with the winners. You're holding the ticket. I'm shocked that you don't have an issue with it. But I think you're right. I mean, the guy for me that stood out for Kansas throughout their tournament run has been Remy Martin, but not so much in the Final Four as much as it was leading up to the Final Four. You know what I mean? I think he's the reason they got to that point. But then you're right. Agbaji just took over, and I think he deserved to win that. So I have no issue with it. No issue with it. But great game, great tournament. Even though no buzzer beaters. Can you believe that?
I can, because
one shining moment just didn't have the same. It didn't have the same feel. I mean, it was still one shining moment, but
yeah. Well, I'll be honest. One shining moment was a dud. If it wasn't for St. Peter's, I think this would have been the worst tournament in recent memory. Like it just like don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like the bitter old man yelling at the clouds, but I thought the conference tournament week was more exciting in terms of betting intensity with each game coming down to the wire. And then I didn't really think the last 2 weekends gave us a whole lot, like the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. And I know, relatively speaking, the margins of victory were not as wide as prior years, but it's recency bias. We watch the games. We want action. Most of the games were decided before the final media timeout. But I will say this, the championship game was not, and the Final Four game Saturday night, the late game between Duke and Carolina, also was not. So the last 2 games were very close and good, and I guess that was a nice way for the tournament to close.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the show because we got a lot to get on to today. We're going to talk some Masters with Teddy Greenstein. We're going to talk NBA with Scal. 2 guest show. Really special.
Yeah.
2 guests. We're going to talk some ice picks. Jared, you're going to give out some kick picks, people like that. And finish things off with our play of the day. So without further ado, let's bet it. And let's bring in Teddy Greenstein, senior editor at Points Bet. And let's talk some Masters because, listen, boys, Big Cat's out there. He's looking good. He's looking good. He's out there with the clean shave. I mean, I saw him with the peach shirt the other day, the smile looking like $1 million. I mean, we're going to hear today Tiger Woods is playing in the Masters, right, Teddy? Like, there's no way about it. The Masters made this nice cut-up montage and posted it. Tiger Woods is playing.
Absolutely. I mean, he wouldn't do this to us, would he? Would he toy with our emotions like this?
No.
I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the comments of Fred Couples yesterday. Freddie played 9 with Tiger, and the word that stands out is, quote, phenomenal. It says Tiger looks great. So I'm looking at it right now, live shot. He's on the range. Looks good to me. So Tiger needs to get in this field.
But here's the question, Teddy. We all know he's going to play, and a lot of guys play. You mentioned Freddie Couples; he's going to play and probably miss the cut.
Sure.
The former champions like to take a victory lap around the track at the Masters. Can he be effective? Can he finish in the top 20? Can he make the cut? Can he win the Masters? Is there any chance? Because I know the odds are probably overinflated, but I wouldn't bet it. But we could still talk about it.
I'm betting it. I mean, sports betting wife is betting it. I don't know if you guys seen the variance in odds for outright. I've seen some books with 40 to 1. I've seen a lot of 50 to 1. PointsBet has them at 80 to 1. The thing about taking a guy at 80 to 1 is you can be profitable even if he doesn't win the tournament. Because if Tiger, goes out with some decent rounds and shoots 69, 71 and is, 15th after 2 days,
They'll cut those
you
odds
can cash out. That opens up a world of possibilities there. I mean, our traders are taking a bold stand. These guys have some cojones. Our over-under score for him in the first round is 75.5.
What?
I'm telling you. Now, if you want
that's
the under,
that's an under. That's an under to me.
If you want the under, it's minus 150. You got to pay some juice. But I can't believe that. We're also offering a boost on him to make the cut. So I've seen a lot of places.
Yeah, that's
like minus 102 to make the cut. We're offering plus 125.
I'm betting that.
I know. If he's playing, look, and you guys know it's a relatively easy cut to make. There are 91 guys in the field.
Yeah.
It's top 50 in ties. There are 15 to 20 players who, are
out of it already.
Have no chance to win or contend, and only a modest chance to make the cut because there's, amateurs and former champions.
Man,
love that.
Man. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to watching.
Pop some money in the PointsBet account right now, Teddy.
Do it, Jared. We'll give you a little reload bonus.
You give me a reload bonus?
What should people's expectations be for Tiger, though? Are we all just kind of walking to this thing hoping to see Tiger on Sunday? What should we expect from this, though? Is that realistic?
I mean, anytime we doubt him, look what happens. And he's hitting it so flush. And the thing about that course at Augusta is he's a shot and a half better than most players just because of the course knowledge. So you guys know, I mean, most tournaments, most majors are moved to different venues. But Tiger goes out to the Masters, and he's played so many times, and he's so smart about where to make and where to miss. I was fortunate enough, I've covered a bunch of these, and I was out there in 2019. And like when he won in 2019, his final round, you guys probably don't really remember a shot he hit because he didn't have any amazing shots. He didn't have any, it wasn't like on 16 when he's spinning back the chip, he didn't make any bombs. He just played so much smarter than everybody else. So when all those guys are hitting it into Rays Creek on 12, he's playing for the fat part of the green. And he just managed his game. And that's his huge advantage there. I'm telling you, he starts out, 1.5 shots better than most of the guys in the field per round.
Well, who are you seeing?
Like when I play against my friends, I always get 1.5 shots every hole, right? No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's get into your card. Cam Smith at the top, 16 to 1. A lot of people like Cam Smith. He's had some good runs at this tournament. Give me your reason why you like the Aussie at the top of your card this week.
Yeah, Cam is the man. Now, you guys perhaps know this. There's only one player in the history of the Masters to break 70 in all 4 rounds. And it's not Jack Nicklaus. It's not Arnie. It's not Ben Hogan. It's not Tiger. It is Cam Smith. In 2020, Cam Smith broke 70 in all 4. Now, he still got blitzed by Dustin Johnson, but it's a pretty amazing record, and it shows what he's capable of there. So I think Cam Smith's the best putter in the world, and that's what you obviously need at the Masters. You can also spray it a little bit on the tee as long as you can come back on holes 2, 3, and 15 and hit a draw and give yourself a good chance for an eagle or birdie. So Cam Smith's had an amazing year. He shot 34 under to win that tournament in Hawaii. Looked great at the Players Championship. Got lucky with his tee shot on 17 that he pushed. But that's a tough tournament to win. And we've got him at 16-1, plus 155 on a top 10. Cam and Scotty Scheffler are my top 2 guys on the board this week.
Love it.
Talk me out of Will Zalatoris, 35-1. Look, we're talking about putting and how important it is.
Yeah.
That is like the Achilles heel for Will, but he's just such a great striker of the ball.
Yes.
Probably the best, if not one of the best ball strikers on tour.
Yeah.
Finished second last year, broke par in all 4 rounds. It just seems like 35-1 is a good price for Will. Because again, you can be profitable. You can be profitable, but it seems like a fair price for me.
Alex, I wouldn't dare talk you out of like a top 10, maybe in a top 5 on Will. You have his game, diagnosed. It seems like his putting has been a little better. There are just still moments where he's taking it out here and there, and
it's a weird like pullback. Like it's when I watch his putting stroke, it's a little quirky.
It's a figure eight.
Yeah,
frightening. And I do the exact same thing sometimes on these short putts.
That's not a good comparison, though. You're not a pro. He is.
I can totally relate. I know, but his putting does look better. I mean, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
It doesn't look much better. It's more effective. And yes, he is an amazing ball striker. He's got to be confident going around that place after that performance. So I think Will Z is certainly a threat to contend.
I saw an interesting note on him. I forget it off the top of my head, but it was somewhere along the lines of he's actually been better in the 8 feet and in range than you would think just by looking at his putting stroke. Yeah. I don't have the exact stat in front of me. I'll try to find it and send it over to you later this week. The guy at the top of my card this week, and I rode him really hard last year, and he didn't get across the finish line for me, is Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
And I feel like he is the best player on tour that hasn't won a major in 5 years.
Yeah.
2017 PGA, I think, was his only major. And last year was such a roller coaster ride for him, Teddy. He won the Players in March, which is, the big, that's like the early Super Bowl for the golf PGA season. And then the majors, he just completely flopped outside of the top 20 at the Masters, missed the cut at the PGA. His only top 20 was a 19th at the U.S. Open and then a T40 at the British. I feel like he rebounded nicely in the FedEx, and then in the offseason, he made the switch to Bones Mackay on the bag, and that is now, I think, where some of this fresh start, new chapter narrative rhetoric we're hearing from Justin Thomas. And the form coming in is great. 5 top 10s in 9 events. He's got the second lowest scoring average on tour. This is a guy with the temperament. He's got the pedigree, and now he's got some of the recent form. I think it's a Justin Thomas year. He's going to be at the top of my card. I've got the most exposure on him so far. Talk me out of it.
I can't talk you out of it. He's a great player. He just, I know, hasn't really produced the results. I mean, I feel like I've taken him for a bunch of majors, and it's kind of one disappointment after the next. I don't really know what the problem is. I mean, you see his game, and you're like, that guy has everything. I mean, he can hit the draws. He can hit the fades. He's experienced now. Grew up in this golf family. His dad's a teacher. He's won important events, but only one major. And come on, let's go. I mean, there should be more from Justin Thomas at this point. He should have won 2 to 3 majors by now, just like, Rory should have won at Augusta by now. So it's hard to do.
Don't get me started on Rory.
Hasn't produced the results that I thought he would, but he is a great player. There's no reason he won't win the Masters this week.
I think the Bones Mackay switch is the big one for me. I wouldn't have bet him this year if it wasn't for that. I mean, he's got so much experience at this tournament. I thought that was a big – because he needed a switch. He had the controversy last year and then the weird season. He needed a fresh start, and I think, golf is so mental. Like these guys, they're all so good. It's that little separation between the ears that wins you these tournaments, and I think that switch – is why I'm going to go with JT this week.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're a big caddy guy, you can point to Scotty Scheffler getting with Teddy Scott, Bubba's ex, and say, okay, that helped him. So agreed. I mean, caddies can help a ton. Justin just has to, I don't know, he has to avoid mistakes. I feel like a lot of rounds I see where he's still making bogeys and doubles, more mistakes than a player of his caliber.
A guy that people love to bet on is Bryson DeChambeau, right? Plus 4,000. Has never really had a ton of success at Augusta National.
Nope.
Is that a guy, given, the injuries and, just not playing well? Is there any reason to back a guy like Bryson this weekend, you think?
Alex, I don't think I wouldn't back him. He's down to 50-1 with us. So if anybody's feeling it, go for it. Plus 375 on a top 10. But, when we pick golfers, we look for guys playing well who have a good history on the course, and he's 0 for 2. He's not playing well. Shot 76, 73 at the Valero. I should have hit him at plus 180 to miss the cut last week. I wussed out. He's plus 155 to miss the cut this week. He doesn't do well at the Masters. He doesn't seem to get the place. He doesn't know when to take chances and when to throttle back. No top 20s in 5 tries.
Bryson throttle back? Throttle back? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, just poor performances. So even when he was at his peak, he hasn't performed there.
Yeah. So who is the guy that you're seeing the most handle on right now? It can't possibly be Tiger Woods, right? Like it can't be Tiger.
We are seeing a lot of bets on Tiger. He's not the number 1 handle guy. He is the number 3 handle guy. So he's 3rd in terms of money, but he is 1st in terms of tickets. And it makes sense considering it's Tiger and what we're offering him at. I mean, way, way better than the rest of the industry. 80-1. It's kind of like a Chicago Cubs bet that never hits. And then all of a sudden 1 year hits. So Tiger, Scotty Scheffler, a lot of tickets on him. Brooks Koepka, 3rd in tickets, number 1 in handle. People obviously just feel like they've seen enough good stuff from him this spring. And when Brooks gets to a major, special things happen. Colin Morikawa is popular. JT is in our top 5. Cam Smith is getting some bets too with us, as he should.
I'll give you a few long shots on my card, and you can perk your ears up or eyes up if any of them resonate with you, Teddy. I've got Finau at 66-1. Yep. I mean, this is a guy, that price on Finau. I mean, this is a guy that was 20 to 30-1 to win a lot of tournaments. 66-1 on a guy that 4th all time in Masters scoring. I mean, I know he's only had 4 starts, but he's had 3 top 10s and 4 starts at Augusta. He's going to be at the top, near the top of the leaderboard. The recent form is not great. That's what scares me. 0 top 10s this year, and he was 61st at Valero last week. Yeah. So but an interesting part on Finau, in 2 of his 3 top 10s, he went miscut in his previous 2 stroke play starts leading up to the Masters. So he's come from off the radar before and then finished, near the top of the leaderboard. So that's a guy I'm interested in. And can we give Joaquin Niemann some love? I mean, the dude was like the hottest player on tour for like a month.
Yeah.
And Riviera, which is the tournament that he went bananas in, Riviera has been a Masters kind of, gauge. Watson, Adam Scott, Mickelson, Weir, Couples, all multiple winners at Riviera, all Masters champions. So there's a little bit of a comparison there with Riviera being kind of this gauge. And I'll give you the Augusta resident. I love my guy, Luke List. I feel like I got to throw his name onto this card. I got him at 180-1. Yes. He's already won this year. He's inside the top 25 for approach, around the green, and driving distance. I don't think he's going to putt it well enough to win, but I think he's a guy that could have 1 or 2 rounds and then get that 180 down and then maybe cash out. I feel like Luke List, that's a really good price on him.
All right, so Luke List, Jared, you need to do the points betting thing with us. I don't know if you've ever done that. So we have finishing position. And if you like Luke List, so take a guess at where our traders are putting his finishing position.
Probably
what do you think the over-under is?
The top, is overall, I would say 40 to 50.
So if you like him, 39th. And if you're fading him, 43rd. So if you like him and you think he's going to finish, say, 20th,
top 20,
the points betting thing, and then you get 19 times your stake. Even if he finishes 35th, you'd get 4 times your stake. So I'm going to do that for Luke List. I like to do that for those lower guys because even if they miss the cut, usually the number is 70, but it might be lower this week, so it's not a huge exposure.
Love it.
Quick Tony Finau story. So he wins in Puerto Rico a bunch of years ago, and I'm covering the Masters, and Scott Michaud from the Augusta Chronicle, he walks around the room. He's getting everybody's pick. He goes, "Who's your pick?" I said, "Tony Finau." He goes, "Not in the field." So I was so eager to pick him. that I was trying to pick him in a year he wasn't even playing in the Masters. I had assumed that was one of those events that got you in, and it didn't. But yeah, Finau, he's got the game for it. We remember when he made the hole-in-one and then practically broke his leg in celebration.
Yeah.
In the par-3 contest. And, 3 top 10s, so he's primed.
Teddy, before we get you out of here, talk to us about the Parlay Hub and some of the other specials PointsBet is offering.
We have great stuff going on this week. All right, so we have a power hour tonight, 8 to 9 p.m., and Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m., when we are going to be offering the best price on every single outright. So check back at PointsBet tonight. We also, for the first time ever, and we think we're the first book to do this, we're offering parlays in golf. So you can get a Luke List top 20 with a Tiger to make the cut.
I love it.
With
You are the first book that I've seen do this.
Right? Have you seen any others?
No, and you know me. I'm on these books.
Yes, you would know.
I live on these books.
Yeah, you'd know. And then we've just got a ton of name of bets and boosts. Like I put in one, sort of the Cam Smith special. Will any player break 70 for all 4 rounds? That's plus 1150. That one's pretty tempting. We have a Watson boost, a lot of Tiger stuff. So navigate around the site, but the power hour and the parlay stuff is
I'm gonna load up the PB account tonight. You gotta get me one of your account executives to give me a reload bonus there, TG.
I'm texting you as soon as this is done. You're gonna give me your account number. I'm gonna get you hooked up.
See, this is what we do on the show.
Love it.
Man of the people, Eddie Greenstein.
Enjoy.
Eddie Greenstein, senior editor of PointsBet. Thank you.
Love it, guys. Have a great one. See you.
Appreciate it, bud. Later. Good luck this week. We'll be in touch.
Let's just get right into it. We're gonna go from one guest. Now we bring on Scouts, just like the car wash here. So
Scouts taking notes. He's getting his golf bets in for the Masters.
No, you know what? I feel inferior following. Oh, you got this guy and this guy. This guy can get, if he finishes, if he gets 3 birdies on 18, you can win money. I'm like, I just pick winners over here, man. That's all I got. Who's gonna win and who's gonna win by how much?
Very different game, Scout. Go from golf to basketball. It's like apples to oranges, bro. But that's why we have you on, man.
Scout, last week of regular season. Last week, how are we feeling about how things are starting to shape up? The East, still a little toss up.
Yeah, I mean, still a lot. So here's why I think. So Miami will probably finish first seed. I think Celtics and Milwaukee. Celtics have Chicago and then Milwaukee on a back-to-back on Thursday. They play. They're going to be fighting for home court. I think both teams want home court advantage. It's really interesting too. If you're not in the play-in, you get a week off, before playoffs. So like sometimes like too much rest, like you don't want to, rest guys for a week and a half before starting the playoffs. So I think there'll be some teams fighting to, for home court advantage. And I really believe that Milwaukee, Boston, second round, that'll be an interesting series. Brooklyn is weird right now. Like the comments with Kevin Durant and, can you really, like, I have no doubt that Kevin Durant would be able to win 2 games and win a series. I just question everybody else on that team. I'm not sold that you can be, it becomes like a 9-game playoff series. You're not going to beat Miami in 5. So you're going to play 2 play-in games where your back is against the wall. There'll be some traveling in there, and then you're going right away to play Miami, who's one of the toughest teams out there. Like I said, Durant can average 45 points a game, and they could still lose. So there's just a lot to unfold in the East right now.
Well, I want to ask you about the Nets because, with all the Ben Simmons stuff going on now, he's going to miss the rest of the regular season and the play-in games. How concerned should Nets fans, Nets backers be about Ben Simmons? Because I think that we're all pretty high on the Nets because we assumed Ben Simmons at some point was going to return.
I don't think that you can return in the playoffs and be effective. So how does it work? All right, so Ben Simmons goes in there and it's inevitable that everyone kind of sucks when they first return, right? Like I guess you might have one good game or you might have one good stretch of 7 minutes, but you're like, you haven't done this since June 20th. And all of a sudden you're going to get into playoff games. If he's not going to play the play-in would be a perfect tune-up for him to get ready. But if he did play, are they going to roll him out there and be fine with him making mistakes? And how do they even use him? So I'm not optimistic at all. I actually think that Brooklyn could win a championship if Ben Simmons was healthy. I think they have no chance of, even if they get in, they have no chance of beating Miami, after doing what they have to do if Ben Simmons is not.
heard an interesting or saw an interesting stat today. They're laying like 17 points against the Rockets tonight.
Mhm.
The Nets are 1-20 against the spread in their last 21 games as a home favorite. So, Scout, when they're supposed to win at home by a certain amount, they have drastically underperformed. And you get this game tonight against the Rockets. Just how much fire are we going to see from this Nets team down the stretch? They're locked into the play-in game. No one in their right mind is going to lay 17 points with this Brooklyn team tonight, right?
No, but what I would do, I would look for like a first quarter line and see what would that be at, like 5.5?
I'll go pull it up.
I think that the Nets are going to jump on them. I hate laying big spreads against Kyrie Irving because I think he points. I'm not saying he's like point shaving because he has money on it, but I don't think Kyrie wants 15-point games. I think he wants it to be 8 and he like plays the awful defense. Even that night against
in the first quarter, Scott.
See, I would take that. I would take that. I would take the Nets to come out just on fire, right? And then as the game goes along, they're thinking about the next game. So 17.5, they might win by 50. I don't know, but I really like them in the first quarter today.
How about my guy Jalen Green? 23.5 points for his prop tonight. He's had 30 in 4 straight. He's getting the keys to this Rockets team.
Yeah.
They have nothing to play for, and they're just like, hey, Jalen, go out and shoot the ball. How about this? He's got 40 minutes in 2 of his last 4 games. His field goal attempts in the last 4 games, 18, 24, 25, and 24. I mean, he's basically just, go ahead, Jalen. Here's the ball.
All right, let me ask you this question. When you factor this in, do you factor in the Rockets have been in New York for like 2 days? He's into fashion. Like, do you factor that stuff in?
Because I do. Club hanging out?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, wherever he's hanging out, like Jalen Green, you see how he is with the clothes and the whatever. You think he's going to be like hanging out at his hotel room because he's playing against the Nets? No.
Definitely not.
The season's over. He's living the life. Like I would. I'm not saying he's not going to do it, but I would factor in like New York. I think they've been in New York for like a while.
Usually I do factor that in, Scout, when it's a day game and they have to wake up early and they were likely out the night before. But this is a night game, so I don't that handicap.
He ain't never been out in New York. New York, there's the early club, the late club, and then the late morning club. Like that's 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. Jalen Green's out. He's turning down that next AEO. Let's go to this next spot. He's saying, nah, man, your season's over, bro. You're good. Nah, I would say I hate these games. That's why I think early first quarter, watch the Nets jump on them.
Yeah, these games are tough. I want to talk about the Bucks tonight, but before I do, tough not to bring up this Mavericks team that just beat the Bucks the other day. Mavs plus 1,000 to win the Western Conference. How do you feel about that? Because I feel like in the West, it's Phoenix and it's everybody else, and everybody else has a puncher's chance. I think I put them in the same group.
Don't forget about the Warriors.
Well, hold on. We've been saying, are the Warriors going to figure it out all season? Like,
no.
I think I'm off.
No, that's not true.
It changed from when Draymond comes back, and now it changed to the Warriors.
I think it's Phoenix and Golden State and everyone else in the West. I think
I put the Grizzlies over. I put the Grizzlies over the Warriors.
All right. Here's. I actually took when the Grizzlies were like I think they were a plus 3,000. I put $100 on the Grizzlies to go to the finals because if they make the Western Conference Finals, which is legit, I can hedge my bet. I can now play around because I got some house money to play with, right? So here's the thing. I look at their ceiling and floor. The Phoenix Suns, in my opinion, have the highest floor I have seen in a regular season team in a long, long time. Like, I don't care who they put out there. They're nasty, right? But their ceiling is not as high to me as the Golden State Warriors. We talked about Draymond Green coming back. Do you know Steph Curry had 41 points in 15 minutes with Draymond Green on the floor? 41 and 15.
Wow.
And by the way, also factor in this. Steph Curry went to that Denver game, and the girl with the sign, I want to meet Steph Curry, she started crying and made social media. Like I got my son tickets to the Warrior game, and I was scared to death of my son having a fit when I'm actually supposed to be working because Steph Curry's not playing, right? So I think Steph feels that pressure, and I think he's like, I'm not saying he's not injured, but I think he's like allowing this injury to kind of play off. Like he feels obligated to play for that little girl, with the sign in Denver. They gave her tickets to the next night to come back. So he feels that obligation to do that. So I just feel like this is a good break for Curry. I'm not worried that Steph Curry is going to be like, oh man, I got to gear up or ramp up for the playoffs. He's going to be fine. They're going to be fine. If Iguodala, Draymond Green, Steph, Clay, Jordan, like these guys are healthy, they're going to be a tough team to beat. I'm telling you, I got the Warriors going to the finals if those guys are healthy.
Wow. What do you think about the Mavs?
Oh, so Mavs, if the Mavs didn't play the Suns, I would pick them to go to the Western Conference Final. I don't think that they can beat the Suns.
No.
You're not like the Mavs can beat teams that they can exploit or Luka. Like the Suns guard, man, they got multiple guys to throw at Luka, and Luka can play great. And I really like the Mavs. Really like the Mavs. They're going to be in that 4-5. So if that's the case, then if they were at 6, let's say something happens, they drop down to 6, then all of a sudden I'd have a different conversation with you. Hey, the Mavs, I can see them beating, if the Warriors are banged up or Memphis or something like that.
Actually, they have a shot at that 3 spot. Aren't they one back from the 3 spot right now, I believe?
They still got to get past one of those. They still got to get past Phoenix at some point. I think they're 0-4 against Phoenix this year. I'm looking.
Yeah, I just don't believe that the Mavs can beat the Suns. But playing that finals game, like, yeah, if, let's say they go to 3rd and they got Memphis in the first round, you could do I'm going to hedge the bet that when they do get to the finals, you can play around with that money a little bit.
For them to get to 3rd, they're 2 back with 4 to play. That's going to be tough.
So, yeah,
they have to be 4-0, 1-3. I don't know what the tiebreaker scenarios look like, to be fair. Yeah. But let's say the 3 seed has the tiebreaker. It has to be 4-0 and 1-3. That's tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So I don't think that they can beat the Suns. That's my only beef with the Mavs, unless they match up.
Looks like that's going to be the second round game too.
Yeah.
We got a question in the chat here from Tyrone about the Nuggets. If Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. are healthy, can the Nuggets go to the conference finals and maybe beat Phoenix? They're not. Are they coming back? I thought.
Nah, I'm heard they're like, it's all this ramp ups talk. I don't think you can ramp up in the playoffs. I just don't think. No. I don't think it's smart. And I want players to play, man. I want players to play more than anybody. I just don't think like that's an environment. There are lulls in an NBA game where you could find minutes. Like, use this example, right? Jamal Murray could start early sub, bring him back in the start of that second quarter. That second quarter, there's a little bit of a lull. There's no lull in the playoffs. So that would not be smart to put Jamal Murray out there. So if those guys were back a week ago, I would say yes. With like them guys figuring it out, coming back into them, I would say no. And I love Jokic, but I just can't see Jamal Murray getting back to what he needs to be for this team to win, like while the playoffs are going on.
Yeah.
All right, really, what's on your card tonight? Talk to us.
Oh, I like Indiana against Philly. They're getting, I think 12? It's 12 and a half.
Yeah.
12 and a half at home. And I think what will happen is like Philly will come out and it'll be fine, but Doc will be thinking about minutes. And ultimately, Indiana will kind of creep back into this game. And I don't think it'll be like a 15-point game or anything like that. But I got Indiana like it's going to be a closer game than that. And then the other one I have, and by the way, I like the way that Tyrese Halliburton has been playing. Like even though they've been losing and all that, like he's playing hard. He's getting people involved. They pace you. They space you. Like they're a better basketball team offensively than people can imagine. So I think that they're going to be all right against Philadelphia. On the other side of it, I just watched Washington get blasted by the Celtics. And if you watch that game for a half, they're actually playing really good basketball. The Celtics were insanely good that night. They were, 11 for 12 off the bench shooting threes. And sometimes those nights happen, but I never thought that Washington was like a dead man walking. I like the way they play, their toughness, their size. I like them tonight in Minnesota. I don't have the balls to put them as the money line, But I actually think that they're going to win that game in Minnesota tonight. Like, Minnesota doesn't handle
Sprinkle
pressure
that
well.
money line, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, just a little.
No, I mean, you guys might have the balls. I don't have the balls. Like, I'll take the 12.5.
Plus
and
5
instead of your $100 bet, just put a little like 50 or a little 25.
A little sprinkle.
Just sprinkle some.
Just do a little sprinkle. Hey,
all right.
You mentioned the Nuggets. I want to close with this. The MVP race is locked up, right? Jokic has got this. Is Giannis can still steal it? I think Embiid is fading. I think it's Jokic or Giannis. I don't know. I feel like Giannis is really.
Nah, it's because you're a nerd, man. You're like me. Nerds like Jokic and Giannis, but you got to remember, man. There's a lot of like LeBron James is going to get an MVP vote, like a top 5 vote. Probably. It's insane. There's a lot of emotion involved in this, so. Yeah. Don't sleep on Embiid because there's a lot of people out there for whatever reason like get voter fatigue and want to go a different direction.
Mm-hmm. All right, Scott, really appreciate your time as always. And
I think we're talking twice this week, so this is one.
We're gonna be talking to you more as we get ready for the playoffs, and the playoffs are here.
Just make sure I follow the guy who's doing golf, man. That was some fascinating stuff.
He knows you. He said he should know.
What's that?
He said he covered you in Chicago.
Oh, there we go.
The direct quote is Teddy Greenstein said, "Covered him with the Bulls. He should remember me."
I'm going to Chicago. You want to go have lunch? Yeah, I want to hear all. If I'm betting the Masters, I want to know where I should go.
I was going to say, you go hanging out in Chicago. You talk to our guy Teddy Greenstein. I'll hook you up.
All right, I'll make that happen.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
You got it, guys.
See you later. All right, Jared, let's talk some ice picks. I'm going to start. I'll start here.
Yeah, start it off.
Hold on, because I've been kind of dipping my toe back in the ice picks. Every now and then I'm like, I don't like – this is a pick I like this pick a lot. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to the window per se, but I like the Preds at plus money tonight against the Wild. And it's kind of like you're standing in front of the freight train a little bit because the Wild have been incredible lately, right? They won 9 of their last 10, one of the best teams in hockey, one of the best offenses in hockey. But this just seems like a good spot for Nashville because they played well against the Wild this year. They've won both games, and I believe they actually dominated them. Outscoring them 11-4 in those games. And Nashville's also a team behind as we get ready for the playoffs in hockey too. Behind in points, 9 points back from Minnesota, so they're a little desperate. Home ice tonight. I just think this is like the perfect recipe for Nashville, and I think we're getting a little value here at plus money. They've been playing kind of iffy lately, but I think at plus money, that's a good bet. What are your thoughts on that?
No issue there. The Preds have been a really good team this year. Let's see what Money Puck says about this game. Money Puck has it basically at a pick'em. So if you're getting plus money or if you're getting a 3-way, I don't have a problem with it at all. I'm going two picks on the ice tonight. Both of these are locked in. One of them I'll save for play of the day. I got to back my Rangers tonight in Newark against the Devils. And it's an even money 3-way money line. I got 1 unit on it. So this is a big revenge game. The last time these two teams faced off, I was on the Rangers as well, and the Rangers got absolutely smoked 7-4. This was like 2 weeks ago. And it snapped a string of dominance for the Rangers over the Devils. They had won 8 of 9 against their, I guess they're not in-state rivals. We'll call them city rivals, dating back to last season. And this is an interesting buy low spot for a Rangers team that has lost 2 straight. They were behind 3-0 against the Flyers the other night. We were on the Rangers puck line in that game. They tied it up in the third with 2 goals in like 12 seconds, and then they lost in a shootout. So the Rangers lost their last game to the Devils. They've lost 2 in a row, but they sprinted through the finish of that third period against the Flyers, and they have a massive edge in net. Anytime Igor Shesterkin is in net, they will likely have the goaltending edge even more tonight. Because the Devils, as we discussed, we were on the Devils or fading the Devils the other night against the Islanders. The Devils like run through goalies more than I run through like slices of pizza in my fridge.
You still got a couple left over.
I do. I got a few left over from last night. I'm going to hit up after the show. But they've played 7 goalies this year. Nico Dawes, they've had a bunch of injuries. Blackwood, a bunch of guys in and out of the lineup. Nico Dawes is now the starter for the Devils. and his goals saved above expected is bad. His goals against average is over 3 per game. He's got an under 500 record. And this is also the Devils' third game in 4 nights. And one of their best scorers, Jack Hughes, questionable with a lower body injury. And he had 2 goals in the last meeting against the Rangers. So I just think there's a lot of buy low, sell high factors with this Devils-Rangers matchup tonight. So we're going to go Rangers 3-way money line, even money. Got it over at MGM.
Love it. Love it. All right, I'm looking at the chat right now, and the people are absolutely bucking for your kick picks. So let's just get right to it because you got a couple. Let's give the people what they want. Give us some kick picks.
I do. Pete Flanagan, who's a regular commenter on the show here. Happy birthday. I saw in the chat it's your birthday today, bud. Congrats on that. Hopefully we get some birthday winners here. All right, I've got both matches on my card today. I'm giving out kind of like a double unit play in the first match and then one just same game parlay in the second match. So let's get to the more important match first. Man City hosting Atletico Madrid. By the way, this is the quarterfinals, both matches, and it's the first leg. Remember, there's 2 legs. So they take the aggregate score after the 2 legs, and then the team on top advances. And Atletico comes in with a ton of momentum. If you recall, a couple weeks ago, they gave Man United a knockout blow at Old Trafford. So they've already eliminated one Manchester team. Now they're going against City. A bit of a tougher task against City, but their best 2 defenders are out in this game. Ruben Diaz has an injury. Kyle Walker had a red card in the group stage. He's actually missed the last 2 matches, and this is going to be his last match that he misses here. And this Atletico team is in top form. 6 straight wins, 4 of them to 0. They've scored the opening goal in 8 straight matches, and they've got a really good defense, airtight defensive strategy, and that's kind of their identity. And I think City's going to have possession in this match, but I think Atletico is going to form that wall, try to muck this game up. And here's the kicker for me. I think City might have a little bit of a look-ahead vibe to them because they host Liverpool in an EPL match on Sunday, which is like a Super Bowl kind of match with City and Liverpool neck and neck in the EPL standings. So I think City's 1 point ahead. So this is as important as the Champions League is. Take no mistake about that. I do think City is going to, with some injuries, they might be looking ahead a little bit to stay healthy for Sunday. So we're going to go 2 bets here. Atletico plus 1.5, minus 120, 1 unit there. And then Atletico plus 1. Maybe they push if they lose by 1. That's plus 165. But I kind of see this as a 1-1 match. And I think Atletico is live here. Benfica-Liverpool, the other match today. As much as I think Liverpool might be looking ahead to the Man City match on Sunday, they are so much better than Benfica. The gap here in talent between the English Premier League and the Portuguese league is huge. For example, the top team in the Portuguese league, Porto, Liverpool went to Porto and beat them 5-1 a few weeks ago. I kind of see that being the way this one plays out. Maybe it's 3-1. So we're going to go same game parlay, just 1 unit, Liverpool money line, and the over 2.5. It's plus 105. So I'll go over the picks one more time. Atletico plus 1, plus 165, 1 unit. Atletico plus 1.5, minus 120, 1 unit. Liverpool and the over parlayed, plus 105. Have fun.
Love it. Love it. The chat's buzzing. Everyone loves the kick picks. Let's finish things off with our plays of the day. We got any 3-star plays on the site?
Yeah, we got Chadwick Wetzel's talking Bruins Wings. I'll get to that game in a minute, too. Philip Tomich, Hornets Heat, a total there. Tyler Mortimer, Wild Preds, another interesting one there. And then a couple Masters picks on the
Hold on. What's the Wild? Hold on. Just give that. What's the Wild Preds pick? Are we on the same side here?
No, you're not. He's on the Wild money line, Tyler Mortimer. So you can go chirp Tyler tonight if the Preds win.
All right. Good to know. All right, what is your play today? What do you got?
So I'm going with the Bruins tonight. We bet them last night. We lost. They came back. They were down 1-0, came back to tie it, had a 2-1 lead, and then Columbus tied it late in the second, and then it was a scoreless third, which is very unlike the Bruins because they're usually a team that sprints to the finish. And I think they were saving some petrol in the tank for the second of the back-to-back tonight against the Red Wings. And this is more of a fade of the Red Wings than it is a bet on the Bruins. The Wings have lost 6 straight, 13 of their last 15. Yikes. So the Bruins had Ullmark in net last night, who's their number 2 goalie. They'll have Swayman in net tonight, who's an absolute stud, 29-3, plus 10.3 goals saved above expected this year. I think the Bruins, they did win last night, but it was in overtime. I think they do it in regulation tonight, laying 25 cents over at Bet365. Bruins 3-way money line. Play of the day here on Pickswise.
I like it. I'm going with an NBA play, not a prop. A rare side tonight. I'm going with the Bucks laying the 5 points against the Bulls. Neither of these teams have been playing great lately. The Bucks have actually lost 2 straight, coming off that tough loss on Sunday to the Mavs. But this season, it just seems like they know how to beat the Bulls. Well, actually, more than this season, they just know how to beat the Bulls. 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread against the Bulls this year. And get this: when you look at this Bulls team, they have failed to cover in 9 of their last 10 games as underdogs. So I just think this is more of a fate of the Bulls. And I think that I got to ride with the Bucks, who are back at full strength, to get ready to make this playoff push. I mean, obviously, they already locked things in. They're already good in that regard. But I think they want to get a little bit of momentum going as they get to the end of the regular season here. So laying 5 points with the Bucks tonight.
Bucks own the Bulls. That's what I'm hearing in the chat. Chat likes to pick, that's for sure.
Bucks own the Bulls. All right, well, that'll do it for us today. For Jared, I'm Alex. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Good luck with all your bets tonight.